Hello, Swedish Fish Cookies. I'm Gorsenio Hall from 2 Minutes to Late Night, and today we're going to be doing a roundtable discussion about the first episode of our new live stream series, Splitsville. We got the idea for Splitsville by reminiscing about 7-inch split records where bands used to cover each other and thinking, wow, that would be a really cool way to kill time at my fake job where I send my idiot friends dumb memes on Slack. The first episode of Splitsville is airing January 29th at 8 p.m. and will feature Cave-In covering an Every Time I Die song and Every Time I Die covering a Cave-In song. So here they are, our two kings of Godzilla vocals, Steve Brodsky of Cave-In, Mutoid Man, Old Man Gloom, and of course, 2 Minutes to Late Night, and Keith Buckley of Every Time I Die in the Damn Things. How you doing, fellas?
Great, thanks for having me and us.
Doing good. Yeah, good to be here.
Hell yeah. All right, well, you know what? Let's get right into it. What is your relationship with each other's bands? Keith, do you want to start us off?
Yeah.
That's good because I wrote down that you have to go first.
I found out about Cave-In right after they put out Until Your Heart Stops. I just feel like it was exactly what I was looking for at the time. I was into aggressive music, but I definitely liked things with a hook and with some melody. And Steve's voice was enchanting, so I became obsessed with them and have been ever since. So this is a real honor. I'm gonna try not to geek out.
Listen, this is a punishment-friendly zone, so don't worry.
All right.
Yeah,
good.
you're good.
Yeah.
Steve.
I became aware of Every Time I Die when Cave-In and Every Time I Die toured together. I believe it was in 2003. I may have heard of the band before that, but I definitely got into Every Time I Die on that tour. And I mean, you guys were the saving grace. We were on tour with, was it From Autumn to Ashes?
Ashes, yeah.
Yeah, and our major label record had flopped. It was a commercial failure, dead in the water at that point. So we were just doing stuff to look busy to our label at the time. And we we were pretty miserable. Like, we were just sick of the road. But I remember doing that tour and just like, we hung out with you guys pretty much every day. And it was like the thing that got us through. And then from there, just watching you guys grow into this like awesome otherworldly staple in the world of sort of heavy music. It's great.
Thanks. That's an honor.
I just want to remind everyone that neither band knows what songs the other chose. So Steve, obviously you and I, we make covers together all the time. But I don't think there's been an Every Time I Die cover since the Bush administration. Either way, what was it like covering like a peer's music and reinterpreting their songs? No spoilers.
No spoilers.
You know, in this pandemic time, it was very unifying for Cave-In because we actually put it together remotely. We did the recording remotely. It was just something that I think kind of, again, brought us together, got us communicating, got us doing some music. I love the idea of covering music that's sort of within our scene. You don't see it too much. I think there's video of like Verge covering a Lincoln song from like back in 95 or something. And that's a very obscure reference for some people. But if you know the song Benchwarmer, like, it's a beautiful song. And just seeing like, you know, a tribute within our world was very cool. I always kind of think back to that, and I definitely thought back to that during this process. And I think more bands should do it, really. The song is awesome. We had a blast learning it. We definitely mutated it. No spoilers, but JR is strangely the star of this rendition of your song. So, yeah, I'm pumped for you to see it. You'll see him in a whole new light.
Can't wait.
Keith, how about for you?
Yeah, to that same effect, it was really good to get back together with everyone. We haven't been in the same room since last March when we were actually recording our record, but we just moved back to a practice space that we started off at. It was this old house, and my dad used to own a business, and this was like his offices. And my brother, after the business went out, my brother and our bass player moved in as like an apartment, and that was in 2001, 2002, but we started practicing there in our early stages, like as we were getting ready for tour. And just recently the house went up for sale and they bought it. So we moved back in and we're practicing in the same basement we started off in. And it was very cool to get together and like listen to and practice Caven, old Caven stuff in the same basement we started at with like almost the original lineup of the band. It was a really, really magical thing. It was such a benchmark for us. I mean, growing up, we focused everything we did around trying to emulate the bands that we liked. And it was always agreed upon that Caven was like, we were going to just start with that as a template and then see how we could work from there. So it was cool to like go back to the source in every way.
I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt very nostalgic and fulfilling and interesting. And, you know, it was cool to like look back on it and see how we could do things different if we wanted to, rather than just listening to it and intently trying to like channel into it. You know, now that we know you guys and, you know, we have more familiarity with music in general, it was cool to take it and really look at it from an objective viewpoint and just sort of, you know, see what we can do, how to add our touches, which honestly weren't many because the song is perfect as is, but no spoilers.
Hell yeah. Actually, yeah, Caven just moved into a new rehearsal space, and we moved out of a place that we were in for several years. And just the energy of being in a new place to get together and do the video and start working on some stuff and actually playing the song together, the Every Time I Die song that we learned, actually getting together and playing it. It just felt awesome. Hearing the mix back, like blasted through our PA. We were just pumped, you know? And I got to say, I got really wrapped up in getting into your voice, like lyrically, it's not too often that I get to sing other people's lyrics, especially like lyrics generated from within our world. So that was awesome. That was a blast. I just, you know, I got red in the face, just like hitting it as hard as I could. That
was exactly the same way I felt. Like I really wanted to like get into your voice and understand, you know, how you did the things that you did, because the more I started studying it and trying to dissect it, it was really complicated, like really complicated for me. And I went in on the first day and I was just like, man, I don't know. I don't even know if I could touch this. And I don't want to use some sort of like interpretation as an excuse to not do it well, you know? So I was like, no, we're going to fucking do this. And I eventually got to a place where I think it doesn't touch it, but at least it's a respectable homage. So we'll see.
Awesome. No, I can't wait to hear it.
Ultimately, it's your call.
It's great.
When this idea was presented to you, did you guys all have like, oh, we're going to do this song? Or was it like a discussion, or like, how did you break it down and kind of figure out?
It was pretty easy. I say easy just because we all know each other so well, and especially with regards to the Caven material we listen to most and enjoy best. So, you know, we all put together like our top three, and all of us had this as like our first or second choice. So it was really easy, kind of, you know, no brainer. And anybody that it wasn't their first choice, it was their second. So everyone was just happy to agree and get working. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like, I loved doing it, and I love doing it so much that like, I still like, since then I've just become obsessed with that Caven catalog again, which is great. Celebrating their entire catalog in my car the last few weeks.
Same question to you. What was the process like choosing the right Every Time I Die song?
We kind of narrowed it down to stuff that we felt like was within our technical wheelhouse, which, man, you know, it's daunting. I mean, you guys just like, I think have consistently been like playing at the top of your range. And it's so impressive. It really is. You know, we were looking for curveballs because that's kind of what we've been all about, like from the start, just sort of throwing curveballs into the world of hardcore music. But I think we found one that worked, and something that we could just really lay into, and also something to get just a little out of our comfort zone with too. Kind of going back to what I said about JR being the star in the sense of this rendition. It's just something that we've never really tried before. So going out on a limb and just having fun doing it, really. The lyrics are great. You know, there's like this sort of narrative that created a lot of visuals in my mind. So When it came time to hit the vocals,
Mm.
I could see it, like it was just sort of pictures and in my mind and in my voice, and I just got lost in it. And I think just that alone kind of felt like, okay, this is the right choice.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I'm so fucking stoked. I can't wait.
Man, it's so weird talking about it without either of us knowing which song it is that's behind the veil.
Yeah, like there's specifics I want to get into about the lyrics, and I have to keep biting my tongue. Okay, but yeah, I can't wait.
Does this mean there's going to be a follow-up call?
Yeah, there's gonna have to be a follow-up.
We'll do a follow-up.
All right.
Hell yeah. Keith, you brought up that Caven was a huge inspiration. Present day, Every Time I Die and Caven are sonically very different bands, but I think there is some, like, especially with like the response so far to the event. Why do you think that your bands make for a good pairing for this thing that I'm making you do?
Because it's all roads lead to the riff, I think. You know, Jordan and Andy pride themselves on out riffing each other and out riffing themselves from the last record. And I mean, you know, Caven has some of the most standout iconic riffs, you know, that I've ever heard. So making, you know, I feel like the styles might be different, but essentially it really is just songs that are based around, you know, earworm riffs. I really don't think there's anybody better than Caven for that.
Well, shit.
Hell yeah.
Steve, what do you think?
I love the community aspect of it. Caven's covered Pink Floyd, we've covered Led Zeppelin, all the bloated rock bands that like our dads loved, and you know, all the records that we were conceived to. So, but this kind of just brings it back into the circle. I think especially in this time, that's very important. With everybody's sort of feeling a little bit disconnected from one another. I mean, Every Time I Die just has such killer energy, and you guys have been sort of true to what you do from the beginning. It's been unwavering, at least from this perspective, very respectable. And yeah, I think it was just a really nice way to sort of like honor what we consider peers at this point, you know, maybe, you know, coming off the heels a bit, like riding a bit of the steam of that energy of the last ETID Fest. We just had a blast, man. That the way you guys put all that together, and it's very much like a reflection of where you have come from and what you still retain and what you give back to people. It's really one of the best festivals that I've ever played or been to.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, maybe this is also a continuation of that. Like, we're just so blown away by what you guys did. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's cover a song. Let's get some of that music in our DNA.
That rules. We were talking about how funny if it would be if either of us got like commercial success from covering each other's songs, like Alien Ant Farm did with Smooth Criminal. Like one of us finally hits it big on the radio. Because
I'm ready. You know,
man, yeah. Yeah.
Just, you know, I've been trying now since I was 16. So
yeah.
I think I don't know. I don't know what the odds are, but at this point, but I'm too deep in the hole to do anything else.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the first time I think anyone has mentioned like one of us is going to Alien Ant Farm in a positive way.
Then, you know, that like Alien Ant Farm didn't, once you were exposed to them, and I don't want to make this a conversation about Alien Ant Farm by any means,
it can be.
You get into their stuff and then you go, oh, they don't really have anything else. But, you know, if this was what introduced someone to the world of Caven or the world of Every Time I Die, there's so much backstory there, you know, that it's actually something you could hold on to and follow through, you know, down the rabbit hole. So who knows? I'm just saying this might do something really nice for both of us.
Absolutely. And it's like, this is sort of the way that's built upon the ways of old, which are like, you have a cassette tape that, you know, you saved all your paper route money to buy, and you're listening to this one record, you know, that's all you had access to.
Yeah, you had to like it.
Exactly. You would comb over every detail because you had the time, and you put the energy into saving that $14, you know, eating donuts for lunch at school instead of paying the full price for like an actual lunch. You would read the thanks list and you would see like, oh, these guys are into this and I should probably check that out. And so connecting the dots to just try to find the trajectory to more stuff like what you're experiencing at that moment that you're into.
Absolutely.
And so maybe this is a continuation of that as well, right? Like, oh, these guys are into these guys. Like, this musically is like a path that maybe I should explore. And there it is.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Well, listen, you're talking about album booklets. Do you have a favorite Split EP or?
I think that, okay, I don't know if this counts, but the Judgment Night soundtrack was so important to me when I was a kid.
Yes.
The combinations of the, like, I loved R&B and hip hop and rap at that time as a kid. For some reason, I really just connected with it, but I'm also getting into aggressive music. So like that could not have been placed more perfectly as a touchstone in my life. So I don't know if that I know you're talking about Split 7 inches, but that to me was the the collaboration project that sticks out the most.
I have so many fucking thoughts about that because I love the Judgment Night soundtrack. And there's like a part of me that is forever a little bummed, like Rap Rock didn't go more in that direction. Anyway, listen, right. This is totally other conversation.
That hasn't been done since, you know what I mean? Like this is the first installment of something like that. I mean, if this morphs into something where, people hear the renditions of any of the bands you do subsequently, that, maybe this is going to help bands team up with each other and do something fucking original again, could be cool.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I hope, man. I this is a community experiment.
Yeah.
And thank both of you gents. Steve, you're such a fucking vinyl nerd. Show us your Split EPs, man.
Where should I start? Actually, I made a little pile here.
You made.
Yeah.
How much time are we allotted on this call here? Yeah, this is the Cave-In Gambit split. This is the first Cave-In vinyl. Band on the other side, Gambit. They were from Danvers, Massachusetts. The story goes that the vocalist, Jay Randall, went to a Fish concert and sold fake drugs and used that money to press this record.
Boy.
Thanks, Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, listen, entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has an early version of the song Flypaper. And then, I don't know, I mean, I got a whole pile here. Like, I don't take this shit lightly. If it push came to shove, the best Split 7-inch, in my opinion, would be the Hoover.
Oh, Lincoln. That's what I was going to, that's what I was.
There you go. Hoover Lincoln split.
Right. Essential hardcore.
Absolutely. And the thing I love about this record is that Hoover's basically trying to sound like Lincoln. Lincoln's trying to sound like Hoover, and they both ace at it. This is actually a gift from Adam McGrath. Yeah, it's dated July 11th, 1994, according to the Newbury Comics price tag.
Yeah. Man, I haven't seen that cover like since I was a kid. That's so nostalgic for me. Holy shit, I gotta listen to that. Like,
it holds up. It holds up. I mean, the Hoover record holds up great. I think all the Lincoln stuff holds up great.
There was a band from Canada that I was really into. They were called New Day Rising, and they had a split with a band from Buffalo. That was a big influence on us early on, called Hourglass. So there's an Hourglass New Day Rising split that I had, and I can't fucking find it at my parents' house anymore. So, Steve, if you happen to come across that one, New Day Rising Hourglass split, please let me know.
All right. Yeah, I just discovered Discogs, so
yeah.
No!
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
That's where our Patreon money is going.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Canadian splits, you guys you recognize this Shopmaker?
No.
And this is a ripping band from Canada, late 90s, like mid to late 90s. This is a split LP they did with Maximilian Kolbe. Can't tell you what they sound like, but the Shopmaker shit is primo.
Nice. That's great.
I gotta check all this shit out. Like, you just like Hoover Lincoln, I was like, it's a vacuum covering an assassination. I'm fucking in. What is this?
I'll do one more. This one is sort of a standout. This is the second Cave-In split 7-inch that we did with a band from Florida called Early Grace. This is the front cover. I don't know if you can see it, but that is former bass player Justin Mathis. And the photo is from a show that we did at Andover Town Hall. Justin charged somebody in the crowd, and the neck of his bass ended up cracking him in the skull, and he was bleeding profusely. And we were like, we took one look at him, like, we got to get you to the hospital.
We got to get this for the cover of an album.
Yeah, exactly. And he was hell bent on somebody taking a photo of him in that state before we shipped him off to the hospital.
You guys are the Methuen Mayhem. Good job.
Yeah, complete with I think it's Creepy Font is the name of
it.
Yeah.
For this event, we're also going to be featuring exclusive crossover merch that hopefully won't be scalped for too much money next year. People love a mashup merch these days. Do you guys get excited about your own merch still? Like, Steve, do you want to go first? I know, like, you're like me. You wear a band t-shirt every goddamn day of your life.
Yeah. I guess when it comes to making merch, it's great to work with your friends and, people whose art that you love and people who are sincere about doing it and it's their passion. Basically like an energy to the way that they work that's parallel to the energy that we have making music. And we've been very fortunate to work with just so many great artists. I usually just look at something and go, would I wear that? And if I would, then I feel like it's okay to print it and put it behind the merch table.
Oh man, I'm exactly the opposite. If I look at pictures of Every Time I Die merch and I go, I would never fucking wear it. It's going to be the biggest seller. Absolutely.
I'm excited because like Steve showed me whatever. I can spoil any. I know everything about this stream, but I just saw the art for the Every Time I Die shirt that Cave-In's people are putting together. It's fucking unbelievable.
I can't wait. That'll be the first time I wear my own band's merch, so I'm definitely
The one time you really toured together was that 2003 tour. Do you have stories?
I have stories about them, but I don't know if Steve wants to be talking about it. But
let's just put it all on the table.
Didn't you guys get pulled over in Texas for going from Vegas, or was it going to Vegas or going back from Vegas because you guys had shrooms on you?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. And I think our van was searched. I remember the cops pulled out this search dog, and this thing looked like, woo, it was mangy, like they just dragged it out of the woods and hadn't eaten in weeks. I don't know. I mean, we definitely had drugs in our van, potent smelling ones. We definitely had mushrooms, which would have been a felony if we got caught with those. And the dog didn't smell anything. And we were like, lame dog, what are you going to do?
It's a dirty dog.
I think we had also maybe smoked weed just before we got pulled over. So,
oh my God.
The whole van, well, yeah, I know, just great timing. The scent of it like permeating through the entire van, maybe that also threw the dog off, like, because it couldn't pinpoint any one specific area that, something may have been stashed.
I specifically remember in Vegas, I was walking with some of my guys and I saw you and some of your guys like just walking around like just in awe, like it was Disney when you were a kid. And I was like, oh, we should run over there and say what's up. And I think it was Andy's like, they're on shrooms right now. Just let them be. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes, because you guys are just like, I was just kind of watching you go down the street, like like everything was the most sublime thing you've ever seen. It was awesome. I was like, yeah, these guys are fucking sweet. Friendship.
This is the third Steve on shrooms in Vegas story I've heard.
This was back in 2003 though, so this might be one of the.
That was the debut.
It's proof that he's real, and he's always been real about it.
I remember crazy shit from that trip, like picturing my brain with all the fibers and all the things that sort of connect, one part of the brain to the next, and like, oh, there's the connection between like these two parts of your brain for speech, and then the connection just snapped. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't talk anymore. And then another one with memory, and I was just watching like all these things just like blow apart, like disintegrate, like goodbye, gone. I can't do that anymore. Really squishy feelings.
Well, you write great riffs, so it's working.
Adam and I were talking recently about how on that tour, Andy Williams was the one who kind of showed us a different way of holding our guitar picks.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you see old videos of me, like, I don't know, I'm doing some sort of like whacked out, like it looks like I'm trying to chicken pick, but like I clearly just didn't learn properly how to hold a pick.
Yeah.
Doing like the Marty Friedman arm where it's like up.
Oh yeah, it's like a bird's wing, like better bird wing.
I wonder if Andy still employs the method that he taught you. I'll have to ask him.
But yeah, again, you guys were like the saving grace for us on that tour. I mean, I remember there was another band from First to Last. Do you remember them?
Yeah, they were on their tour? Really?
They did a week on the West Coast.
That's bananas. You were just on tour with bands with From at the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah.
From verb to noun?
Yeah.
I think it was their first tour, and they showed up in a bus, and we were all kind of like,
yeah. Well, Sonny would eventually go on to be Skrillex, so he knew he was going to be in the money eventually. Yeah.
Travis went on to write the theme song for Hard Melissa on our show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's great. I
Yeah,
like
dude,
that a lot. Miss him.
Anything else that you can talk about? I'm just going to keep digging.
I do remember just feeling very safe and comfortable with Caven being on the tour. Like I just felt, it was one of our first ones. So I definitely felt like it was an actual equal friendship where I wasn't like I could still be inspired by and admire the people in the band, but I wasn't so intimidated that I didn't like talk or hang out. So I definitely remember having some conversations with Steve, deep conversations for a 21-year-old outside of venue in Tucson, I specifically remember, and found out that we had like a similar familial history. And this is probably creeping Steve out because he might not remember this at all. And I'm talking about.
I need this. These are the puzzle pieces that I need to. Yeah. I was talking about all the stuff that broke in my head that time.
Yeah,
this is healing.
Therapy.
Yeah. It set a really good standard for the ways that I would want to tour and who I would want to tour with. And every tour should feel like that, where you have some real connection to someone that you look up to, as well as feel equal with. So.
I remember listening to Floor quite a bit with you guys.
Listen to what? Floor?
Floor, yeah, that was the thing. And and just hanging out with you guys near your van and just marveling at like what happens to the speakers while that is being played at max volume.
True Hessians. We were getting true Hessian parking lot vibes from that tour.
Right.
Well, goddamn, fellas, thank you for doing this. This was
man,
fucking rad.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for asking us to be a part of this. I'm really excited about it.
Do you guys want to plug stuff? This is basically an advertisement.
Yeah, no. Check out our cover of Caven.
Yeah,
cool.
Check out Caven's cover of Every Time I Die.
All right, you heard the man. No plugs. Splitsville, January 29th at 8 p.m. We'll see you then. I gotta pee.